Well, hello. Hopefully this is going to work. I've got a new computer that I can do more things with, and I'm hoping that sharing my screen is going to help. So welcome. My name is Lanita. I'm the Scrappy Grandma, and this is my Bible reading portion. We're in Genesis, and we're reading Genesis 31:1 probably through 35. To the end of 35. I'm trying to do about 3 chapters each week so you can read along with me. And so let's get started with prayer first. Father Yah, thank you so much. Thank you for answering my prayer and giving me a hunger and a thirst and a passion and a love for your word. And thank you for the opportunity for me to share that with others. And I just pray that you ignite in them a hunger and a passion and a love for your word. Cause them to thirst for your living waters and hunger for your living bread. And I pray that this reading is transformational in all of our lives. Give me wisdom as I share your word, and let it be pleasing to you and everything from you, nothing, complete truth, your truth only. In Yeshua's mighty name, amen. All right, so we're going to start here with Genesis 1:1. And he heard the words, oh, what's going on? I got some weird stuff in here. I'll just try to figure it out. And he heard the words of Laban's sons saying, Jacob has taken away all of our fathers, and from what belonged to our father, he has made all his wealth. And Jacob would look at the face of Laban and see it was not towards him as before. And Yah said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I am with you. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flock. And he said to them, I see your father's face, that it is not toward me as before, but the Elohim of my father has been with me, and you know that I have served your father with all of my strength. Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but Elohim did not allow him to do evil to me. When he said this, the speckled are your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled. And when he said this, the streaked are your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked. So Elohim has taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me. And it came to be at the time when the flocks conceived that I lifted up my eyes, and I looked in a dream and saw the rams which leaped upon the flocks were streaked and speckled and mottled. And the messenger of Elohim spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, here I am. And he said, lift your eyes now to see all the rams which leap on your flocks are streaked, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am El of Bethel, and where you anointed the standing column and where you made a vow to me. Now rise up, get out of this land, and return to the land of your relatives. And Rachel and Leah, answered and said to him, do we still have any portion of inheritance in our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as strangers? For he has sold us and also entirely consumed our silver. That's really interesting. For all the wealth which Elohim has taken from our father is ours and our children's. Now then, do whatever Elohim has told you. So Jacob rose and put his sons and his wives on camels, and he drove off all the livestock and the possessions which he had acquired, his property, his livestock, which he had acquired in Padam Haram, to go to his father Yatzig in the land of Canaan. And when Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel, darn her, stole the house idols that were her father's. I did read something, I think it was in Jasher, where the reason she stole them is she was afraid her father would go and inquire of his idols, where they had gone or something like that. So she stole them. Don't quote me, but I think it's something like that. So, but anyway, so the house idols that were her father's, and Jacob deceived Laban the Aramean because he did not inform him that he was about to flee. And he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and he passed over the river, and he headed towards the mountains of Gilead. And on the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Then he took his brothers with him and pursued him for 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the mountains of Gilead. But in a dream by night, Elohim came to Laban the Aramean and said to him, "Guard yourself that you do not speak to Jacob either good or evil." Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched a tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brothers pitched in the mountains of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, "What have you done that you have deceived me and driven my daughters off like captives taken with a sword? Why did you flee secretly and not inform me? And I would have sent you away with joy and songs and tambourine and lyre. And you did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have been foolish to do this. It has been in the power of my hand to do evil to you, but Elohim your father spoke to me last night, saying, guard yourself that you do not speak to Jacob, either good or evil. And now you have gone because you greatly long for your father's house. But why did you steal my mighty ones?" And Jacob answered and said to Laban, "Because I was afraid for you, for I said, lest you tear your daughters away from me, with whomever you find your mighty ones, do not let him live in the presence of our brothers. See for yourself that it was with me. See for yourself what is with me, and take it with you." For Jacob did not know that Rahel had stolen them. And Laban went to Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the 2 female servants, but he did not find them. And he came out of Leah's tent and entered Rahel's. Oops, I lost my place. Oh. There we go. And he entered Rahel's tent. And now Rahel had taken the house idols and put them in a camel's saddle and sat on them. And Laban searched about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, "Let it not displease my master that I am unable to rise before you, for the way of a woman is with me." And he searched, but did not find the household idols. So that was that time of the month. She was telling him that it was that time of the month for her. So Jacob was wroth and contended with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, "What is my transgression? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? Now that you have searched all of my goods, what have you found of your household goods? Set it here before my brothers and your brothers, and let them decide between the two of us. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes, your female goats have not miscarried their young. I have not taken the rams of your sheep, which was torn by beast, I did not bring to you. I myself bore the loss of it. You required it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was by day, the heat consumed me, the frost by night, and the sheep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I have served you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your flock, and you have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac, had been with me, you would now have sent me away empty-handed. Elohim has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and has rendered judgment last night." And Laban answered and said to Jacob, "These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and this flock is my flock, and all that you see is mine. But what shall I do today to these my daughters, or to the children whom they have borne? And now come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and it shall be a witness between you and me." So Jacob took the stone and set it as a standing column. And Jacob said to his brothers, "Gather stones." And they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there on the heap. Sorry, it's going to take me a little while to get used to this. And Laban called it, and I can't tell because of those stupid little things in there. I don't know what that is. Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, "The heap is a witness between you and me today. This is why its name is called Gilead. And also Mitzvah because he said, let Yah watch between you and me when we are out of each other's sight. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take other wives besides my daughters, although no man is with us, see, Elohim is witness between you and me. And Laban said to Jacob, see the heap and see the standing column which I have placed between you and me. This heap is witness, and the standing column is a witness, that I do not pass beyond this heap to you, and you do not pass beyond this heap and the standing column to me for evil. And Elohim of Abraham and Elohim of Nahor, I think that might be Nahor, and Elohim of their father rightly rule, Nahor, rightly rule between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Yatzig. And Jacob slaughtered a slaughtering on the mountain and called his brothers to eat bread. And they ate bread and spent the night on the mountain. And Laban rose up early in the morning and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. And Laban left and returned to his place. And I'll try to get those little boxes fixed in the next thing. 32. And Jacob went, and Jacob went on his way, and the messengers of Elohim met him. So messengers of Elohim, it's awesome. And when Jacob saw them, he said, this is the camp of Elohim. And he called the name of that place. Oh, darn it. I don't know. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me just pull up a reference. That'll be helpful. So we're in 36. 32. Here we go. I have. Okay. And he called, and he called the name of the place Mahanaim. Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir, in the field of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, say to my master Esau, your servant Jacob said this, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now, and I have bulls, donkeys, flocks, male and female servants, and I have sent to inform my master to find favor in your eyes. So the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to your brother Esau, and he is also coming to meet you, and 400 men with him. And Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, so he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels, into 2 groups. And he said, if Esau comes to one group and strikes it, and then the other group, which is left, shall escape. And Jacob said to Elohim of my father Abraham, and to Elohim of my father Yatzig, Isaac, Yah, who said to me, return to your land and to your relatives and do good to you. I do not deserve the least of all the loving commitment and all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I passed over this Jordan with my staff. I passed over the Jordan River. He passed over with only his staff, and now I have become 2 groups. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother and from the hand of Esau, my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and shall strike me and the mother with the children. For you said, I shall certainly do good to you and shall make your seed as the sand of the sea, which are too numerous to count. I love this, and this is something I really want to start implementing into my prayers. It's just reminding the Father, having the word so deeply in me from being in it and feasting on it, that I'm able to remind him of the promises that he has given us. So, because he's a promise keeper. So, and he spent the night there and took what came to his hand as a present for Esau, his brother, 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams. And this is just the gifts he's given to Esau. So remember, his flocks were just enormous. 30 suckling camels with their colts, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 foals. And he gave him into the hands of his servant. Every drove by itself into his servant, passed over before me, and put some distance between drove and drove. And he commanded the first one, saying, when Esau, my brother, meets you and asks you, saying, whom do you belong and where are you going? And whose are these in front of you? Then you're to say, these are your servant Jacob. It is a present sent to my master Esau, and see, he is also behind us. So he commanded the second and the third and all who followed the drove, saying, speak to Esau the same word when you find him. You shall say also, look, your servant Jacob is behind us. And he said, let me appease him with the present that goes before me. And after that, see his face, he might accept me. And the present passed before him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. Here's the famous when he wrestled with the Most High. And he rose up that night and took 2 wives and his 2 female servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford of Yabok. And he took with them he took them and he sent them over the stream and sent over what he had. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he had not overcome him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was dislocated as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, I am not letting you go until you have blessed me. It's like, what nerve he had, just boldness. So he asked again, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he asked him, and he said, Jacob. And he said, your name is no longer Jacob, but Yisrael, Israel, because you have striven with Elohim and with man and have overcome. Israel means to strive with El, to overcome with El, to rule with El. Ooh, to rule with El. That's cool. And Jacob asked him, saying, please let me know your name. And he said, why do you ask my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved. And the sun rose on him, and he passed over Peniel, and he limped on his hip. That is why the children of Israel to this day do not eat the sinew of the hip, which is on the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of the thigh, and Jacob in the sinew of the hip. 33. And Jacob lifted his eyes, and he looked, and he saw Esau coming with him 400 men, and he divided the children among Leah and Rachel, and the 2 female servants. And he put the female servants and their children in front of Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. And he himself passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes and he saw the women and the children, and he said, who are these with you? And he said, the children with whom Elohim has favored your servant. When the female servants came near, they and their children bowed themselves. And Leah herself came near with her children, and they bowed themselves. And Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed themselves. And Esau said, what do you mean by all of this company which I met? And he said, to find favor in the eyes of my master. But Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours. And Jacob said, no, please, if I have found favor in your eyes, then receive my present from my hand. And because I have seen the face, I have seen your face like seeing the face of Elohim, and you were pleased with me. Please take my blessing that I brought to you, because Elohim has favored me and because I have all I need. And he urged him, and he took it. And as he said, let us depart and go, and let me go before you. But he said to him, my master knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and the herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard, one day all the flock shall die. Please let my master go before his servant, and let me lead on slowly according to the pace of the livestock that go before me, and according to the pace of the children, until I come to my master in Seir. So he's telling him he's going to be going to Seir. And Esau said, please let me leave with you some of the people who are with me. But he said, why this? Let me find favor in the eyes of my master. And Esau returned that day to Seir. And Jacob set out to Succoth and built for himself a house and made booths for his livestock. That is why the name of the place is called Sukkot, which means booth, or tabernacle, or structure, tabernacle. Isn't that interesting though? He told him he was going to go to Seir. Esau went to Seir, but then he went to Sukkot. And Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Padam Haram, he pitched his tent before the city, and he brought the portion of the field where he had pitched his tent from the children of, is that is 33:19. And he brought the portion of the field where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 Gishita, and he set up a slaughter place where he called it El Elohe Israel. 34. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Now, I think it's in Jasher, it talks about that actually Leah and her daughter Dinah went out to check out what was going on with the people of the land, which they're pagan nations, and they're not honoring. And I think they were doing like, I forget what it was, but anyway, they weren't honoring the Most High. And Shechem, is it Shechem? I think so. And Shechem, yes, Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hittite, prince of the land, saw her and took her, and he lay with her and he humbled her. So he raped her. And his being clung to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the girl and spoke kindly to the girl. And Shechem spoke to his father Hamor and said, "Take this girl for me for a wife." And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field, so Jacob kept silent until they had come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak to him, and the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it, that the men were grieved and very wroth, because he had done a senseless deed in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, which should not be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, "My son Shechem's being longs for your daughter. Please give her to him for a wife, and intermarry with us, and give us your daughters, and take daughters for yourself. And dwell with us, and let the land be before you. Dwell and move about in it, and have possession in it." And Shechem said to his father and his brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me, I will give. Ask me a bride price and gift ever so high, and I give according to what you say to me, but give me the girl for a wife." But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, and spoke with deceit, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. And they said to him, "We are not able to do this matter, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. Only on the condition would we agree to you, if you become as we are, to have every male of you circumcised. Then we shall give our daughters to you, and take daughters to us, and we shall dwell with the land, and shall become one people. But if you do not listen to us to be circumcised, we shall take our daughters and go." And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son, and the young man did not delay to do this, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. Now he was more respectful than all the household of his father. And Hamor said to Shechem, his son, came to the gate of their city and spoke to the men of the city, saying, "These men are at peace with us, so let us dwell in the land and move about in it, and see the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters for us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition would the men agree to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Their herds and their possessions and all of their beasts, should they not be ours? Only let us agree with them, and let them dwell with us." And all who went out of the gate of the city listened to Hamor and to Shechem, his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of the city. And it came to be on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city, and killed all of the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and they took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. And the sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city because they had defiled their sister. And they took their flocks and their herds and their donkeys and that which was in the city and that which was in the field and all of their wealth and all their little ones and their wives they took captive, and they plundered all that was in the houses. And Jacob said to Simeon and to Levi, you have troubled me by making me a stench among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I am few in number, and they shall gather themselves against me and shall strike me, and I shall be destroyed, my household and I. But they said, should he treat our sister like a whore? And Elohim said to Jacob, arise and go to Bethel and dwell there, and make a slaughter place there to El, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau, your brother. And Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, put away the foreign mighty ones that are among you, and cleanse yourself and change your garments. And let us arise and go to Bethel, and let me make there a slaughter place to El, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone. And so they gave Jacob all their foreign mighty ones, which were in their hands, and all their earrings, which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree, which was near Shechem. And he departed. And the fear of Elohim was upon the cities that were all around him, and they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. And Jacob came to Luz, then to Bethel, which was in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And he built there a slaughter place and called the place Bethel, El Bethel. So it's Bethel. Because there Elohim appeared to him when he first fled from the face of his brother. And Deborah, no. What is her name? What is that? 8, verse 8? It is Deborah. And Deborah, Ribkah's nurse, died. And she was buried below Bethel under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Elon Bethel. Elon. Where is that? And Deborah below Bethel terebinth tree. And it was called Elon Bekuth. And Elohim appeared to Jacob again when he came to Padan Aram and blessed him. And Elohim said to him, your name is Israel. Your name is Jacob. Your name is no longer called Jacob, but Israel is your name. So he called his name Israel. And Elohim said to him, I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and increase. A nation and a company of nations shall be from you, and sovereigns come from your body. Sovereigns are kings. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, I give to you, and to your seed after you, I give the land. And Elohim went up from before him where in the place where he had spoken to him, and Jacob set up a standing column in the place where he had spoken to him, a monument stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Jacob called the name of the place where Elohim spoke to him Bethel. And they set out from Bethel, and it came to be when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, that Rahel began to give birth, and we had great difficulty giving birth. And it came to be, she was having great difficulty giving birth, and the midwife said to her, do not fear, for it is another son for you. And it came to be, as her life was going out, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benaim. So Rahel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a standing column on her burial place, which is the monument of Rahel's burying place to this day. And Israel set out and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eber. And it came to be when Israel dwelt in the land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, Leah's Leah's maidservant, and Israel heard about it. And now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Yehuda, and Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benaim. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's female servant, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's female servant. Oh, okay, Bilhah. Wait a second. So Reuben, I want to get this straight. Reuben. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so it was not Leah's, it was Rachel's maidservant. And I'll explain in here in a second. Okay, so the sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, were Gad and Asher, and these were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Padam Haram. And Jacob came to visit his father Yatzig at Mamre and Kirath Arba, and is 26. Kirath Arba, which is Hebron, where Abram and Yatzig had sojourned. And the days of Yatzig were 180 years. And Yatzig breathed his last breath. Isaac breathed his last breath and died and was gathered to his people, aged and satisfied of days. I love that. Aged. So in the days of Yatzig were 180 years, and Yatzig breathed his last breath, and he gathered to his people, satisfied of days, and aged and satisfied of days. And the sons of Esau and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. So commentary that I've heard is, so Rachel died, and she only had the two sons, and her maidservant, where is it, where Reuben, and so she was buried, and okay, and here, and it came to be Israel dwelt in the land, and that Reuben went and laid with Bilhah, his father's concubine. Bilhah was Rachel's maidservant. And from what the commentary I heard, which was really interesting, kind of gives us a Hebrew mindset, is Reuben wanted his mother's bloodline, and he wanted to stop any more children from being born to Rachel, because even Bilhah's children belonged to Rachel because she was a maid, a servant. And so he wanted to make sure that there were going to be no more children born into Rachel, under Rachel, and that if there are any more children, they would all be under his mother, Leah. And so he went and defiled, Rachel's dead, and he defiled Bilhah so that his father would not go in and bear any more, create any more children with her. And so, but that doesn't go well for Reuben, because he ends up being cursed from that. So that is the end for today. Let me know what you think about the new way of doing this, if this works, if you like being able to read along. I kind of like it better having that on my screen than a big picture of me. Me in the corner just in a little awesome, but this big, yeah, and it's kind of cool because I can actually read it and not be looking down at, my Bible and stuff. So anyway, let me know what you think. Be blessed, and I'll be back next week for the next 5 chapters of Genesis. Have a wonderful, it's Friday to me, so it's prep day. I've got to go run my errands, get my prepping done so that I can have a restful, peaceful Sabbath. So my prayer is that you have a blessed, peaceful, restful Sabbath, and we'll see you next week. Bye. I've got to figure out how to stop all this because it's all so fancy for me now. Okay, stop recording. Bam.